Hi students and families, welcome back to school. This video will give you some very important information about coming back to school in the age of COVID with masks on, social distancing, all the new things we have to do in order to go back to school in person. We're really excited to have you back. Please, families, watch this with your children. This is important information both for the parents and the kids. Please watch it together. Pay close attention. This is really important stuff. Remember, the schedule is different for the rest of the school year, different than we've ever had it. Monday to Thursday, students will be here from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Some students will have online groups to log into when they get home in the afternoon. Some students will have to go home and log in on their iPad or their Chromebook for an important academic group that they will have in the afternoon. On Fridays is distance learning. There will be both some live Zoom classes and asynchronous work students do independently. There will be specialist classes and study halls also happening on Fridays.
Hi NECP students and families, this is Miss Laura. I'm going to talk about wearing a mask to school. When you get on the bus in the morning, you'll put your mask on before you get on the bus and you'll put it on like this. Make sure it covers your nose and your mouth. And you'll leave your mask on all day at school so we can all be healthy. The only time you'll take it off is if you need a drink of water, like this. And then as soon as you're done, put it right back on. The other time you'll take your mask off is when you're eating your breakfast or your lunch, and then when you're done eating, you'll put it right back on. If you forget your mask in the morning, that's okay. Your teacher will have extra masks for you.
Okay students, I'm going to give you some hand sanitizer. I'd like you to make sure when you put it on, you're rubbing it all over your hands, the backs of your hands, in between your fingers, scrub your fingernails really well, and then make sure that you don't touch anything until it's completely dry. I see you using your fingernails in between your fingers. Excellent. Zach, you're letting it dry. Perfect.
One thing about social distancing, we will be encouraging social distancing, but there will be times when students may be closer together, particularly during small group instruction. We will place desks as far away from each other as we can, but still we're accommodating all the students who want to return. So we just want to be sure. We can't promise at all times there's going to be 3 feet of social distancing, but we will do our best to make it happen.
Hi NECP, it's Miss Joanna. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what your classroom spaces are going to look like when you come back to school. We're in the Badgers room right now and you'll notice that the desks are spread out. That's a little bit different than how our classrooms have looked in the past. This year, for the rest of this year, you're going to have your own desk to sit at. So since the desks are spread out, that means we have space and distance between one another. That's going to be really important for us to try our best to maintain social distance with one another. This year we're going to be spending as much time as we can just in one space, but there will be some times when you have to travel together as a class, to go out to recess, to leave school at the end of the day during dismissal, and to go to the bathroom for bathroom breaks for some of the classes. These are my pretend students. They're going to show us what it looks like to get in a line. I'm going to show you, and these friends are going to show you how we line up for a socially distanced line. we're going to try to keep that distance between ourselves and the next person. So Erica, if you just walk this way, and Zach, you can follow, you'll notice that they're maintaining that social distance. Perfect. Okay, students, we are going to use the restroom for our bathroom break today. So I see that you have space in between you and the next person, which is super important in our hallway. You're going to go in one at a time, use the bathroom, and then you're going to come back out and join the end of the line. And then make sure that you are washing your hands for 20 seconds at the sink when you come out. Okay, so go ahead. Excellent, let's head back to class.
Distance learning students should have received their distribution materials that they need for the last quarter during distribution day. If you haven't picked those up, we are working on delivering those. In-person students will get all the materials and the schedules that they need when they come to school.
Hi NECP students, when you come to school on April 19th, there's a few things you'll need to bring with you and a few things you'll need to leave at home. If you're a kindergarten student, the only thing you need to bring is your math workbook. Everything else can stay at home. If you're a 1st through 8th grade student, you need to bring your math workbooks. You might have 2 of them. If your teacher gave you any math tools like linking cubes or shapes, you can bring those to school. If you have a writing journal or any other notebooks, bring those to school. And if your teacher gave you a dry erase board, you can bring that. Pencils, erasers, markers, all of those tools can stay at home. If you're a 1st, 2nd, actually kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grader, you can leave your iPad at home. But if you're a 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grader, you're going to bring your Chromebook back and forth. So it needs to come to school, and then it will go home with you every night. So bring your Chromebook and your charger. All of our water fountains are going to look like this at school. They're going to be taped off because we're not going to drink out of them. So you will need to bring a water bottle to school every day and fill it up at home. So when you come to school, you can take drinks of water throughout the day, and then you take it home at night, you can wash it and fill it up again for the next day. If you don't have a water bottle, that's okay. We can help you get one when you come to school on April 19th.
For breakfast and lunch, you are going to receive your food in a paper bag every day. Your utensils and your food will both be in here. So in this case, we have cereal and a spoon, and then your milk will be separate. So when you get your food, you'll want to make sure your hands have been washed or that you've used sanitizer, and then you'll take your mask off, you'll begin eating, and then when you're finished eating, you'll raise your hand to be dismissed to clean up. When you clean up, make sure that your milk carton gets emptied into the bucket that will be by your trash can. When you pour your milk, make sure you're going down low into the bucket so that the milk doesn't splash out if you have any extra milk. Your milk carton can go in the recycling bin. Your bag might have some food on it. It's also a really great place to put all of your trash or scraps or food scraps. You'll put that into your bag, and then your whole bag with all of your trash will go in the garbage. For the rest of this year, we are not going to use our composting bin. So all of the food scraps, all of the food, the bags will go into the trash. All right, students, it's time for lunch. Just the adults are going to hand out food to you at school and milk to you at school this year. So I'll bring your food around to you, and Miss Erica is going to bring your milk to you. When you're finished eating, raise your hand and we'll dismiss you to clean up.
Thanks, Mr.
You're welcome.
Ooh, yummy.
I see Laura putting her mask back on. Zach is putting his mask back on. He's ready to clean up. Cool. Okay, Laura, go ahead and clean up. You can put all of your food into your bag.
Put good job. Right into the bucket. No milk is splashing out. Perfect.
While Laura's doing that, I'm going to spray her desk. And then this solution will need to sit on her desk for 2 minutes while it has time to do its cleaning job. So if Laura comes back to her seat and I'm not finished wiping up her desk yet, she's just going to stand next to it while she waits for that bleach solution to work. Zach, go ahead and clean up. Laura, go ahead and have a seat, and Zach, you'll have to just hold on for a minute while this bleach solution works at your seats. There might be a situation when your child becomes ill at school, and because of the virus, we are certainly being more cautious with student illness this year, as well as staff illness. So if your student develops symptoms of COVID-19 while here at school, they will need to go to the Get Better room at school, and then someone from the office will be calling you to come pick up your child. There might also be a situation where several students or maybe an entire class may need to quarantine due to an exposure to COVID-19. So if that happens, your child would need to stay home and be joining the distance learning group for the extent of their quarantine. Please be prepared and ready to answer calls from the school during the school day. So there might be a time that your child has to stay home in quarantine while awaiting test results.
Miss Joanna, I don't feel so good.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just heard you coughing. Are you cold? Your body looks like it maybe feels cold too.
Yeah, my body feels really cold.
I wonder if you maybe have a fever. I think we should probably have you go to the Get Better room, and we will have someone in the office call your family, okay? So we're gonna walk to the office together. You can lay down on the mat right here. And we will call your family, okay, Zach?
Okay, Miss Joanna.
Couple specific things for 5th through 8th grade. There are new lockers upstairs by the 7th, 8th grade classrooms, but we won't be using them this year because it would force the students to be so close together, which is what we want to avoid. So we won't be using those this year. Instead, 5th through 8th grade students will be carrying their backpack with their materials and their Chromebook between classes. Students won't move all at once the way they did before with passing time. It'll be staggered in waves, again, to have social distancing as much as we can when the students are passing from class to class.
You will switch rooms for certain parts of your day where you might go to another classroom space. You might sit in a desk that someone else was sitting in before, but before you come into that space and sit down, a staff member will sanitize that desk and clean it before you sit there.
Hi everyone, Miss Jane here. We're talking about arrival and dismissal right now. If you're a family and you're dropping your student off in the morning at school, you're going to make sure to use the back parking lot, and you're gonna go all the way around the parking lot, follow the circle all the way around to the stairs. When you reach the stairs, you'll see a staff member there, and that staff member is gonna give you the okay to release your student and have them get out of the car. When they get out of the car, they'll get their temperature taken right there. And then the student will walk into school. For dismissal, you're going to use the same parking lot you dropped your student off in, the back parking lot. You're going to follow the same route around the parking lot. There might be other cars there before you get there, so you'll wait in line, and the line might be kind of long, but we appreciate your patience. When you're waiting, a staff member will come up to you, greet you, say hello, and ask for your student name. That way we'll know, okay, this ride is here, and we'll get your student as fast as we can. Dismissal at the end of the day for family pickup will run similar to busing dismissal, except you're gonna stay in your room until your name is highlighted on a screen and an adult tells you when it's your time to go. That adult will make sure that you get out to your ride. Remember to wear your mask the whole time until you get safely in your car. Students who choose to ride the bus will load the bus in the morning at your house. You'll get on the bus safely wearing a mask, and you'll make sure to move directly to your assigned seat. Families who are on the bus together may sit together in the seat, but we are going to make sure that there is enough distance between students on the bus to make sure that it's safe.
Something very important for the kids and the parents here. On the bus, kids have to wear masks and they will have an assigned seat. In order to maintain social distancing on the bus, we have to have assigned seats. Drivers will be letting us know if kids aren't doing it, and we will follow up with that. We will have to enforce that, and kids will lose bus riding privileges if they're not wearing their masks and they're not sitting in their assigned seat. It's so important this year. It's the way we preserve the safety and the way we're able to come back to school and provide transportation. It's the only way. The kids have to wear their masks and stay in their assigned seat. If they don't, we will follow up with those situations, and we will have to give consequences and take away bus riding privileges and van riding privileges. Please, families, talk to the kids about this. Kids, you're gonna need to do this. We're counting on you.
When students arrive in the morning, if they're riding a bus, they're going to wait on the bus until a staff member comes out to the bus to take their temperatures. Once students leave the bus, they should head directly to their classrooms.
For dismissal and your bus ride home, when your classroom is called, you will leave your classroom with other students in a line, making sure to have your mask on. You're going to walk directly to your bus.
As they're going toward the buses, they'll need to look for a cone with a sign in it that has the bus number next to each bus.
Sit down in your assigned seat and keep your mask on and stay seated the entire ride home.
Here's some information about transportation. This is very important if you are expecting transportation from the school. So we're working with a new company this year. It's called Formative, MATIV. They work with a few different transportation providers to send buses and vans out to get students. If you are signed up for transportation, you will have gotten already a text with the information about your child's pickup and drop-off time. If you did not receive a text from Formative, from our transportation company, that means you are not on our transportation list, and you will need to drive your student to school and from school. We cannot make changes at this point. You could submit a request, but we would have to put that in, and it would take 2 weeks. We can't change the routes now since school starts Monday. So if you didn't receive a text, that means you're not on the list, and you need to let us know so we can get you on in 2 weeks, but you're going to have to transport your child for the first 2 weeks of school.
We're going to talk through some questions that families and students might have about what it's like to come back to school during this new school year. The first topic we're going to talk about is recess. Students will need to wear their masks when they're outside at recess. We will not be sanitizing the playground equipment or the toys like balls and things like that between recess uses. However, when students come inside the building after recess, they'll need to wash their hands or use hand sanitizer. There will be a maximum of 2 classes outside at recess at a time, but classes will play together in their individual classes, so they'll be in different areas. So for example, the Badgers class and the Gusties class might both be outside at recess, but one group would be using maybe the soccer field and the other group would be playing on the playground for that day. And then another day they might rotate and switch to use different areas of the playground. Another question you might be wondering about is our heating and cooling and air filtration systems. So when we moved into this building 5 years ago in 2016, we had our air filtration system upgraded at that time. We recently just had a technician come out and check our heating and cooling system and our air filtration, and we received good ratings. In fact, they're much better than a lot of buildings that have older heating and cooling systems. So we are feeling very, very safe about our air filtration system here at NECP. If you've been with us here at NECP for other school years, you know that in the past we've always loved to welcome families and visitors into our school to stop into our classrooms and see our students while they're learning each day. However, due to the pandemic this year, we are not going to be having visitors or extra people in the building, just trying to reduce as much risk of exposure to the virus as we possibly can. If you do need to drop something off for your student for some reason, you can buzz in at the main office and leave it at the main office, and then someone will get that item to your student. In an effort to minimize the number of people students and staff are coming into contact with throughout the school day, specialist teachers such as the PE teacher, music, art, Spanish, and Arabic will not be hosting live classes with actual live students. Instead, specialist classes will be recorded and available on Zoom on Fridays or on Seesaw or Schoology, depending on the learning platform that your students use. One change that you might be wondering about for the rest of this school year is student uniforms. In the past, students have always worn the NECP uniform to school, but to help ease the transition back from almost a year of not being in school, we are not going to require students to wear their NECP uniforms for quarter 4. So students can choose to wear their normal clothing from home here at school. However, we would ask that students wear clothing that's appropriate for being at school. Students are welcome to wear their uniform if they'd like to, but it is not required.
Thank you so much for watching all of these video clips, all this key information. Thanks so much for all of your partnership this year. Now we're finally getting back to something a little bit more normal. So thank you again. If questions come up, you know, you can call the school. It's gonna be another change, another process we're all gonna be learning. We gotta be patient with one another. If you need information, don't hesitate to call the school, and if we need something from you, we will reach out. Thank you so much for working with us in such a challenging year, and can't wait to see the kids. Kids, can't wait to see you.